Welcome to FNF Victory Road Season 2 Team Analysis. In this series, I'm going to be analyzing the teams that participated in the FNF Victory Road Draft League's second season. And this is going to be in the format of an interview, whether it's via DM for the people who can't call or via Discord call. So today we have a Discord call, and this is going to be with Morgana of Northern Necrozmas joining me. So this is going to be a very fun call. I'm excited for this one. And we'll hop right in with, first of all, this lovely picture you made with the initial team that you had. Not the ending team, but the initial team. And, Rotom Frost looks like it knows exactly what's gonna happen.
It's already disconnected from everybody else.
Yeah. But I like this picture a lot. I like the next one better. Before we go on to the next one, though, I wanted to ask, though, so why did you pick Aaron from the Elite Four as your trainer in this?
I really like Aaron. Honestly, it's not even that I don't even like the character that much, because honestly, the Elite Four in all the games are kind of just bland in general. But I really like Aaron's design. I really like how he managed to be an Elite Four member using bug-type Pokemon. And the team he used, when you fight him in Platinum, has some of my favorite Pokemon ever. Yanmega's top 5 for me. So,
yeah,
and I just like his design. I like what he's wearing.
Yeah, I remember when I saw him first, I was like, oh, that's a cool design. And then when he used bug types, I was like, oh, they're really cool. But then I realized, but he's also Elite Four, and they're very forgettable, so...
Yeah, and then my Infernape ran through it in, 6 turns, so...
Yeah, that's bug-type Elite Four for you.
Yeah, the only one, I think.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's any others. But still, cool trainer design, so... But the real artwork is this next photo here. Chimley Manley's parody band. And there's layers to this. So, where do we start with unpacking the...
I mean, do you want to unpack on this now, or do you want to unpack on this as the season goes on? Because all of these happened at a certain point in the season.
Okay, we have to decide when to unpack what, because there's so much to unpack in this.
I made this 3 days ago, man. Come on.
Okay, well, let's explain the background behind. Okay, why is it a parody band? That's what we'll explain now. Okay, so
you want to explain the parody band?
Okay, I'll explain because it was my dream.
That was you, yeah.
Okay, so we were talking in the DM, sharing music because we have a similar music taste, and that night, I think, or the night after, I had a dream where there's a bunch of people in it, and you were one of them. And I forgot the exact order, but it was you, Noob Scrub, and Lion Hugs, I think. And I had mentioned that I think you were the first one that I was like, oh yeah, I was trying to assess, okay, how weird is his music taste? Because, I was like, okay, you like Angel Spit, which is kind of weird for some people, so how weird is it? And then I recommended to you, I was like, oh, this is probably like something that you haven't heard, and it was a Canadian parody band that does music videos in the winter in which they all strip naked. And but you had heard of it in the dream, and when I presented it to Noob Scrub and Lion Hugs, they had also heard of it. Like different bands, by the way. It was 3 different bands because I recommended one to you, and then one to Noob Scrub, and then one to Lion Hugs. This is a genre of bands. It's
Canadian parody bands. That's a genre.
Canadian parody bands that do music videos in the winter and strip down naked in said videos. So, yeah, that's where the parody band comes from, and that's why there's a winter backdrop. And that's not why all the Pokemon are naked, because they are regardless, but...
I was thinking of putting like sunglasses on Mantine, but I just didn't think it would work. Instead, I gave him a CM tattoo on his chest.
and then the Mantine wouldn't be naked, so like...
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly, yeah. So that's the background behind the parody band. And then we could explain the other ones as we go along, because yeah, they happened in the middle, like the Borger battle and...
Well, I guess I can explain Chimley Manly, because that wasn't...
Okay, yeah.
League. So, it was also a dream for me, which is crazy. It was right after your first team analysis video was with Fingered Witch, and I literally like just watched it before I went to bed, so it was fresh in my mind as soon as I went to sleep, and I had this dream where you were doing your team analysis with I think it was like Startoad or something, and you accidentally called Mantine Chimley Manly. I don't know where it came from at all. I just remember I heard you said Chimley Manly, and then Startoad just lost it. Like, he was just laughing so hard. And then I wake up and I'm just like, what's going on in my head, man? Where did this name come from?
Oh my gosh, and now it's a legend.
And now it's Chimley Manly's a legend. I wish it happened earlier in the season so I could nickname him Chimley Manly all the time. But...
Oh my gosh. This picture is so perfect. There's so many good layers to this. We haven't even dissected all the layers, so stay tuned for that. They're gonna come as we go on. But yeah, this is art.
This is art.
Like I said, I'm gonna submit this to the MoMA, and it's gonna be on the front. I was gonna say the front page of the MoMA.
Really hope I see Gengar with a tambourine and a big greasy border on the front page.
So yeah, on that note, we're gonna move into the team analysis, and we're gonna take a look at the initial team that you drafted. Of course, this isn't the final team because you did make a few exchanges, but what was your thought process going into this draft and your planning behind making this team?
Going into the draft, I had 4 Pokemon on my list that I wanted, and that was Garchomp, Tyranitar, Necrozma, and Zeraora. And after that, it was all just draft as I go. Like, I don't know what else to say after that. That was my strategy. Everybody else, I think the next Pokemon I drafted after those 4, because I did end up getting all those 4. I didn't get sniped. I didn't expect to get sniped either. I think I drafted Mantine next after that, because whenever I was thinking of like concepts for my team, I never had any sort of defogger or like hazard remover or anything. And even when like on the finished team only has two defoggers, no spinners. Yeah, so those were the 5 most important at the time of the draft, because obviously Gengar exists and Primarina exists, and that did really well for me. Wigglytuff also exists. You can never forget about Wigglytuff.
Why did you pick Wigglytuff? For the meme?
Yeah. There's nothing else behind that.
Somebody had to do it.
I mean, it's also like one of my only bulky Pokemon. And that's not even like a joke. Like Necrozma's bulky, Tyranitar's bulky, Mantine's bulky, Wigglytuff is bulky. So I have the ability to be bulky, but my team's pretty offensive and my team's pretty frail. So it was good to have Wigglytuff in general. Like I wasn't gonna get rid of her. But getting it initially was just for the meme.
It actually did do you some good. I'm pretty positive it won you one of those matches.
It was the MVP of one of my battles, yeah.
Despite what the differential tells you.
Yeah. Another thing I want to mention is just Gengar. Because Gengar was... I never even looked at Gengar. And it was like the third last round of the entire draft. And I still had 150 points, so I'm like, okay, I could take a tier 2. And the big thing on my that I was looking at was Landorus Incarnate, because it had Sand Force, and I was gonna just try to make a Sand team. And then I talked to you, and I was like, "Do you think Landorus Incarnate's a good idea?" And you were like, "Dude, you don't have any Ghost types." And I'm like, so you're giving me all these Pokemon that I could take, and you're listing all these tier 5s. And I was like, I could take Gengar. And you're like, wait, you have enough points for Gengar?
Oh yeah, I remember. I was like, wait, what?
And I was like, yeah, I do. And you were just like, dude, take Gengar. And I was like, alright. that was my plan. That's how Gengar, and it ended up being pretty much my most important Pokemon, so
wow,
I'm happy with that.
I almost forgot about that. I remember talking with you about Gengar, but I forgot about, like, you didn't mention it, like you didn't consider it before that moment.
It was never even thought of.
Well, it really worked out for you.
Yeah, it did.
Is there a reason? I mean, I'm pretty sure because of its massive move pool, but is there a reason you gave Z any to Necrozma, Z attack to Zeraora?
Necrozma because of its massive move pool.
Yeah.
I also just thought it could maybe just... I gave it Z any because I thought I could maybe do like some sort of setup with it. Like Z... I don't even know an example at this point, because I never used any.
Right.
Zeraora, just because it's fast, you could maybe just get a free kill at the beginning of the game or something like that. I think in this draft format, the only Pokemon that are that have a higher base speed than Zeraora are a Selgor and Ninjask. And
Electrode?
Is Electrode faster? I can't remember.
I don't think so, actually. I think it's
Zera
140.
Zera has 143, so...
Yeah, then it's not.
Anyway, nobody took Ninjask, so it was only just the Selgor that I had to deal with being faster than Zera. Oh,
and Mega Alakazam.
And Mega Alakazam, right. Well, I didn't really count Megas because I wasn't thinking, and I don't think. I don't have a brain.
And they also can't hold a Choice Scarf, so if you need to outspeed them, you can.
Right.
But yeah, this was a really interesting draft, and I think it was one of the ones that I think as time went on, I began to understand more the functioning of, because
Me
a
too.
lot of them I kind of knew like right off the bat when looking at them. Okay, this is what this generally goes for. And yours, I think you showed the potential of like as we went on in the season, because it on the surface it seems like very offensive, but it could actually be defensive when it wants to, especially after your exchanges. So
Honestly, when I first drafted it, I thought it was just garbage, and I just picked Pokemon that I liked, and I was just gonna try as hard as I can with these Pokemon that I like. But it turned out to actually be a pretty decent team all around. So
yeah,
I'm not complaining.
yeah, it definitely was a cool team. So oh, we'll also talk about, because I didn't talk about the logo and the name, because we went right into the memes.
Memes.
um, so this is a very cool logo. I like it a lot because it kind of combines like Canada, Pink Floyd, and Necrozma. So, and the whole Prism theme, which is awesome. So I commend you for that one. I think this is one of the most creative ones. Um, why did you choose Northern Necrozmas, and why did you make this logo?
Um, with the four, because I only had four Pokemon when I only had the four Pokemon that I was thinking of before the draft, and I wanted one of those four to be my mascot, and Necrozma was the only one that had the that worked well with like a Canadian themed name, in my opinion. I could have done like the Toronto Tyranitar, but I didn't really like that. So I just went with Necrozma. Plus, I love Necrozma. It's it's my favorite legendary. It's in my top three favorite Pokemon ever. Uh, so I'd definitely rather be Necrozma over Tyranitar because, to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of Tyranitar. I just know it's really good. Uh, and then with the logo, I wasn't even thinking of Pink Floyd when this logo was made. Also, I just want to. This wasn't made. This was. I had help with this logo. Kiwi, who's also in the server, helped me a lot with this. Like he gave me a bunch of ideas. Um, so it was a joint effort.
Shout out to
Uh,
Kiwi. Good
Shout out,
ideas.
you're an awesome dude. um, I'm really happy with how it turned out though, because well, everyone likes it. Everyone thinks it looks cool.
Yeah,
So
it does. Very awesome. Very memorable logo for sure. So now we'll go into the battle record. And so this is your first season. You got rank 4, which is pretty nice. 7-3 record. How do you think you did overall?
a lot better than I expected to. Um, Going into the season, well, you guys all had experience doing the first season, and most of my experience was from watching YouTube videos and playing through like the main game. So I didn't have a whole lot of experience, and you could tell in the earlier matches because I was kind of just pressing attacking moves for most of the time and hoping it would work. I definitely ironed out that strategy later on, like, and actually look like a Pokemon player. So, but I never went on any losing streaks. I never had any huge problems. Um, I had a lot of very close battles and very hype battles, which I'm happy about. I'm happy I brought entertainment to this.
Yeah, there
But
was quite a few that were like, oh my gosh, really hype.
yeah,
What would you say was, if applicable, the team that you were most excited to face, team that you're most scared to face?
um, most excited to face was probably um, like Roland and Benji at the end of the season. Um, just because at that point I like knew how to use my team, and I had these strategies that I would never have thought of at the beginning of the season, and I was just really excited to use them. Um, and I'm sorry you guys had to deal with that of all the people, because I was definitely better at the end of the season than I was at the beginning. Um, in terms of who I was most scared of, uh, you can probably take a guess. It was 100% Noob Scrub. I hate that guy's team. You know why? I dislike Stall. I dislike everything to do with. Not everything to do with Stall. Stall's an interesting thing to watch, but I just can't see myself doing it.
And yet, it was your best win.
Except, yeah, it was.
Funny how that works out, huh?
Yeah, and it's funny of the aftermath of that battle too.
Yeah, it's a infamous battle. We'll say that as a little teaser.
Yeah, but he was definitely my who I was most scared of, because I remember team building for him, and I was like, wow, none of my moves kill any of his Pokemon.
Yeah, he has a scary team.
Mm-hmm.
I think because everybody went so hyper offensive this league, all the great defensive Pokemon were left for him, and he just took them one by one. Like nobody was taking them. So
and whenever he took them, nobody cared, because everyone's like, "Oh, I'm not getting sniped. I'm happy he's taking those."
Yeah, and then you realize how good the synergy is on his team, and it's like
an immovable wall.
Yeah,
yeah.
Really curious to see how next season goes, considering pretty much everyone has said, "Yeah, I'm gonna go a lot stallier next season." So
I'm not. I'm definitely not.
Like, speak for yourself. But overall, really good. Like you said, you didn't have any streaks of losses. You pretty much remained in the top half, I think, the whole league.
Yeah, I think the lowest I got was like 8th.
And you repped the newcomers really well, making it all the way to 4th.
Yeah. I think I was the only one to make playoffs. Well, I mean, there was only 3 of us, but...
Yeah. In the beginning, like, all of you were, like, really doing really well. And scores changed throughout the season, but, yeah, it was cool to see how people who were new to League did compared to people who were already established in the league. So
I feel like I may have also just had like a little advantage with that too, because nobody knows my play style at the beginning of the season when everybody else does, like knows each other. Maybe not as much, because they only faced each other once last season, but at least they have videos to go back to and watch. And
yeah.
For if you're trying to battle against me, I remember talking to Lion Hug before my battle, and he's like, "I'm gonna have to get as much information from your battle against Quasi," and it's like it's only one battle.
The information that had to be gathered was Gengar.
The information that had to be, I don't think I think against Quasi I didn't press a single status move. I think it was all attacking. So,
but hey, that changed. So.
Yeah.
So we'll actually take a look into the battles themselves now, the individual battles. And we'll actually start with the one versus Quasi's team, Pitiful Punching Bags. This was the Canada battle, because the 2 Canadians faced off round 1.
Mm-hmm. And after this, we started helping each other out.
Yeah, he had mentioned that. Like,
really
cool. I remember each week you guys pretty much like helped each other team build.
Well, it was more like I showed him his team like an hour before the battle, and he would give me any his thoughts on what my team is, and if I should make any changes. And in his case, he would be just starting team building half an hour before the battle. But sorry, Quasi.
I think he mentioned it too.
Yeah.
He is a
I mean,
late planner.
yeah.
The Sunday match guy.
The Sunday match guy. I think this battle was on like a Thursday though, so don't ask how I remember that.
I think in general you were pretty good at scheduling, and you scheduled somewhat early compared to the rest of the people.
I just kind of did it whenever the other person wanted to, because unless I was working, obviously.
Yeah, and then work becomes a problem. That
Yeah.
definitely happened with me, but
That didn't become a problem until later though.
yeah.
Anyway, this battle,
You pulled the power move in the beginning, and you were just like Dazzling Gleam.
yeah, I lead Gengar because I don't. I just looked at his team. I'm like, wow, nothing deals with Gengar very well. And he leads Komodo, and I'm just like, okay, I guess I'm gonna Dazzling Gleam because it'll Loco it. And turn one, Komodo goes down. The Pokemon that gets second in the MVP at the end of the season. So looking
By
back at
the
it now,
other second place Pokemon.
yeah. So honestly, getting that first kill was like a huge weight off my back too, because I was scared of like how I was gonna perform. I thought I was gonna, get 6-0'd or whatever, and getting that kill on Komodo, I was just like, well, I guess I'm not going 6-0 at worst. But after that, things just started working out. I think Kartana, I had Sarah like set up specifically to take out Kartana with Hidden Power Fire, which is like Kartana's kryptonite.
Yeah.
He set up spikes early, like really at the beginning of the game after Komodo went down, and getting those spikes down along with Mimikyu's Swords Dance through the disguise. He had the ability to come back from this with Mimikyu, but what happened? He got poisoned from my Sludge Wave. He missed a Play Rough, and then was that all that happened?
I think so,
happened.
because Gengar went down from Mimikyu,
From Mimikyu's Shadow Sneak.
and then I don't know if you sent out Wigglytuff next.
No,
or...
I think I don't think Wigglytuff came out at all. I think Tyranitar came out so I could set up Sand. So it was taking poison damage and sand damage.
Yeah.
But then he Play Roughed me and missed, so I was just like, okay, I guess Tyranitar wins.
Yeah.
And this was also the battle where Tyranitar takes down Jigglypuff and falls in love with it.
Yep.
The very first. Well, that's on the Chimley Manly thing.
Yeah, the Tyranitar's love interest, who I was really surprised that Jigglypuff didn't go down to an Iron Head. I was like, whoa, what? You have Godzilla attacking this little pink balloon, and it lives, a super effective hit.
And then it fell asleep right after.
Yeah, and then Tyranitar fell in love, fell asleep. Jigglypuff fell asleep, and then eventually Tyranitar didn't fall in love yet. It was only after Tyranitar kills Jigglypuff that it fell in love.
Tyranitar kills Jigglypuff when it falls in love.
Because it's a necrophile, I guess.
Yeah.
And
after this battle, I just made this storyline of Tyranitar just being extremely heartbroken.
Yeah,
so,
Tyranitar got really depressed, and it was very sad to witness. Until you remember that it killed Jigglypuff and was into it, and then you're like, I guess I don't feel that bad for you.
Well, I definitely didn't feel bad with it when it left, so...
Damn. Burn, are you just gonna take that Tyranitar?
Yeah. Go back and play your drum set that has Jigglypuff on it.
So, and then this extended into Orberg, too, which was funny, because Pupitar, I think...
I named Pupitar still depressed.
Yeah. So, Really,
Uh,
really nice little family tree.
I forgot about that.
So this first match went pretty well for you, and it was good momentum going into the league. And since it was your first match in general in the league, it must have been pretty nice to win it.
Oh yeah, it was a great feeling.
So the next match was versus Lion Hugs, Florida Flesh Ribbons, and this was a Gengar match.
Yeah, the first of a few. um, I just remember I was so scared of. I was team building for Archeops. I was team building for Blacephalon. I was team building for Sylveon. Team building for Metagross. And then the battle starts, and he has Piloswine, and that thing just completely walled everything I had. And I was like, oh my god, how am I gonna break through this? And at one point, he was up 5-3, and he had Piloswine out, and I had Houndoom out. And Houndoom was behind a substitute and setting up nasty plots, and it was able to survive a Piloswine Ice Shard with like 6 HP, and then take down Piloswine and also die to Life Orb. So Houndoom sacrificed himself for the greater good to take down Piloswine. And then after Piloswine went down, it was kind of just Gengar's time to feast on everybody else, because I'm pretty sure at one shot Archeops, Sylveon, Metagross, and Blacephalon after that.
Yeah, because I think they were weakened, or some of them were.
But
and yeah, you had the reversal. I think Gengar also had a sash too.
he did.
Yeah, so that was Gengar's first cleanup performance.
This is also the only battle that I didn't bring Zeraora.
Oh yeah. It would have struggled a bit versus Piloswine. Even with close combat, I think Piloswine can take one and then Earthquake, so...
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I didn't bring it for a reason, I guess.
Yeah, Pylo. Pretty tough. But yeah, that was a good reversal. You turned it around when...
That was a hype game.
That was a what?
That was a hype game.
Yeah, it definitely was. I remember rewatching it. I was like, wait, when's the moment that Morgana wins? Because Lion Hugs is like in control right now, and then boom, once Piloswine went down, you cleared the way.
Oh, I remember after Metagross took down Primarina, I was just like, oh, it's over. Like I don't have any way to come back into this. But I managed to with Houndoom. It was honestly more so it was Houndoom MVP for setting up the win conditions for Gengar.
Yeah, clearing the way.
Yeah, one of Houndoom's very few appearances, but in his very few appearances, he did a very good job.
So we have, so that was the second battle. The next one is actually versus me, Sun and Friendly, and in this battle, what was your game plan for this battle?
Earthquake.
Yep.
I had this idea to... I actually had a Trick Room idea on Necrozma. I had Trick Room Calm Mind, so Necrozma could just sweep. But come battle time, I was just way too scared to switch into Necrozma until it was way too late. And also, when the battle first started, I was just so excited because I thought I had it primed and ready to win with Garchomp, with just Earthquake, because your entire team's just weak to it.
Yeah.
But Klefki kind of threw a wrench in that with Air Balloon and Magnet Rise.
Yeah, I was trying to be aggressively immune to Earthquake because I knew how weak I was to it.
Yeah.
And
I think I definitely could have put a lot more thought into. I put a lot of thought into the team building itself, but come battle time, I definitely just kind of mashed my head against the attack button. So,
yeah, it was. I feel like you had a really clear like win condition with Mega Garchomp, and then probably seeing Klefki with the air balloon was like, oh.
yeah.
I ended up using Klefki with air balloon and magnet rise a lot in the league in the beginning because I was just like, I need a ground immunity.
Your team's not very good against it.
Huh?
That your team's not very good against it. At least your original team.
Yeah, I picked up 2 more, Latias and Pidgeot just in case, but yeah, it's pretty tough.
This was super demoralizing for me though, because I just got completely rolled in this battle. Like once Venusaur got set up in the sun with the bulk, I kind of just let it happen. I just rolled over, so I couldn't really do anything about it.
Well, I'm glad that we face each other again in playoffs because you definitely brought a lot more fight in that, I think.
Well, yeah, I had more of an understanding of my team. Plus, I didn't have Rotom Frost.
Yeah, and you and you showed not only the understanding of your team, but like how you improved through the season too. So it was cool because I know you were saddened by this one, but seeing like how much better you did in playoffs was cool.
Yeah,
and we'll get to those. First, we'll go on to the next ones. And after this battle, you exchanged Rotom Frost for Hitmonlee. So why did you acquire Hitmonlee?
It was more so of I just wanted to get rid of Rotom Frost because I wanted to put it in a battle so bad, so I just put it in against you, and I had it. I was looking through its move pool, and I'm like, okay, you get Shadow Ball, which Primarina learns. You get Signal Beam, which Necrozma learns. You get, Volt Switch, which Zeraora learns. I kind of had all the bases covered. The only thing it really did for me was being a defogger, but it was an extremely frail defogger. It also had Blizzard, which I didn't really like. I don't like using low accuracy moves like that. So anyway, I look into the tier 4s, because that's where it was, and I had Hitmonlee and Xatu on my list of Pokemon I could have taken. And I took Hitmonlee just because of how high its attack was and how fast it was. I didn't even know it had Unburden when I first got it. I was just going to use it mostly just to Suicide Rapid Spin.
Oh, nice. So that was probably a nice little surprise when you figured out it had Unburden.
It ended up being way better than just a Suicide Rapid Spinner.
Yeah. You didn't use it that much, but when you did, it did really well.
Yeah. That thing's attack is really, really good.
Yeah, I think this was a good exchange for sure. So we'll look into Rio Grande Rapidash, Ember's team, which is where Hitmonlee debuted, and it was actually pretty vital in this one.
Yeah, this battle was another one of those battles where it was just kind of like I felt like I wasn't in very good shape at the beginning. I remember I switched into Necrozma on Breloom, and it was Technician Bullet Seeding Necrozma, and it almost took it out. And I was like, oh no, Necrozma was so important for this battle, and it just lost 90% of his HP. So I was super worried of that. And I was also at one point, I had Zeraora out with Crocodile, and I let Zeraora just go down to Crocodile, not expecting Crocodile to have Moxie for some reason. And when that happened, I was just like, I have no way to take down a Scarf Crocodile with Moxie. I look through my Pokemon in like absolute panic because I thought I just lost the battle, and I see Gengar and I'm like, oh yeah, I gave Gengar Destiny Bond and it has Focus Sash, so I sent out Gengar and it survives with Focus Sash, and I set up a slow Destiny Bond, so it had to choose between basically taking out Gengar and losing Crocodile or switching out, which he ended up switching out, which was extremely vital to the game because, if I didn't have a Focus Sash on Gengar there, I just lose.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where that Focus Sash Gengar came in clutch.
And then there was another point in the game, right at the end of the game, where I had a Necrozma with like 10% HP, and then it was a 1v1 between Tornadus Therian, and Hitmonlee, which on paper that's just an insta loss for Hitmonlee, and on my damage calc it was an instant loss for Hitmonlee because the damage calc defaults Tornadus Therian to have Hurricane. So as soon as I looked at that and I just assumed he had Hurricane, and I was like, okay, I just have to hope he misses. But then he used Air Slash, and I lived. So, and I was able to set up a curse in the Unburden and take out the Tornadus with Hitmonlee, which was my newcomer, which was crazy. I remember popping off like crazy for this battle.
Yeah, that was a really good moment for you. Hitmonlee has a surprisingly good special defense.
Yeah, it's a good special defense, but its normal defense is extremely low, and its HP is extremely low.
Yeah.
But special defense is... I mean, it's okay. It's not amazing, but... Yeah.
It's good enough to survive a Air Slash.
Yeah, it's barely.
From Tornadus. So yeah, this was a pretty good match. Another turnaround.
Another hype one.
Yeah, you definitely had a lot of matches like that, which were like really clutch.
Yeah.
So the next match was versus Drizzleboy Harlem Gloomtrotters. And what was your game plan for this match?
I can't remember what my game plan was, to be completely honest. I know I had Kling Klang. This is the only battle I ever brought Kling Klang for, and I set it up for, I wanted to Magic Guard with it. Maybe like send back rocks, or send back a Sticky Web. But as soon as I saw the team preview, I'm like, there's no way he's going to set up rocks right away. And I was scared Rhydon was just going to like come out and set up a, what's it called, Rock Polish. So the Kling Klang plan kind of just went in the dirt with that. I can't remember who I led exactly.
I think you did lead Kling Klang, didn't you, versus Cryogonal?
Oh yeah, maybe, yeah, and yeah, but I didn't set up anything. I just tried to gear grind it.
Yeah. Flash Cannon, I think.
Oh, was it Flash Cannon?
Yeah, because I remember Cryogonal lived it like pretty comfortably because Cryogonal's special defense is so good.
Oh yeah, I made it special because I gave it Volt Switch, so I wanted to give it more special attack. Kling Klang's move pool is just awful.
Yeah.
It's yeah. You kind of, if you choose it to be physical, you're stuck with like Wild Charge and Gear Grind, and if you want to go special, you have like Flash Cannon and Thunderbolt, and that's it.
It's really unfortunate.
And if you want any other moves, you can use like Return or Hidden Power, and that's all you have. So I wanted to use Kling Klang, but that didn't work. And then the Beast, Ferrothorn, on his side. I just my issue against when I faced your team was in the actual battle itself. I think my big problem in this battle was my team building. Just because I didn't prepare for. I spent way more time preparing for things like Slurpuff and Metacham than I did for things like Latios and Ferrothorn. And it definitely showed. I was not able to take down that Ferrothorn.
Yeah, Ferrothorn could definitely be a thorn in your side when you're facing it and you don't have Fire-type moves. And even when you do have Fire-type moves, you'll hit it with a Fire-type move and think it'll go down, and then it doesn't. And it's like, what?
Yeah, well, it's a bulky Pokemon.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, this was an extremely frustrating battle. But this was one of the last very extremely frustrating battles for me, because after this I started to kind of figure everything out here.
Yeah, this is like the turning point, I think. So, the next one, actually, the turning point indeed.
Oh, God.
Versus Noob Scrub's team, Patch 3.0 Ivysaurs. And, you definitely... Well, I'll let you explain what happened in this battle. So the words could come from your own mouth.
What
did you call it? You used passive offense?
Passive offense. Alright, here, let me give you the story here. I just lost to Drizzle Boy, like, really bad. I was extremely, like, at this time in my actual real life, I was just not in a good spot. I was just extremely unmotivated, just didn't really want to do anything. And then I see Noob Scrub, and I'm like, this is the team I was so scared of, just because of, look at these Pokemon. And I'm going through the damage calcs, and I was like, nothing can kill Celesteela. I'm like, hypothetically, if I give Virizion like Swords Dance and close combat it, will it kill Celesteela? And I'm like, no, it won't. Like, what do I do against this thing? And what I did was I stalled.
You struggled so much to say it. You're like, well,
It was shut up. Basically what happened here, it started off like extremely offensive. I basically used Zeraora and Virizion as basically I don't know how I want to describe it. They were just out to assassinate Celesteela. Which they both, they did a good job. I think Zeraora ended up taking it out with like a Calm Mind, which I don't usually run special Zeraora. That was your idea, actually. The Gengar was your idea too. You definitely helped me with this.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, because I remember after the previous battle, you had told me how you were feeling a little frustrated because of things that were happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I'll help you out. And of course, I gave you the wacky Calm Mind Zeraora idea because I love wacky ideas.
Yeah, and you gave me this Gengar idea. It honestly wasn't even that stally of a set. It was, it had Giga Drain, it had Sludge Wave, it had Substitute, and it had Shadow Ball. So it had 3 attacking moves and Substitute. But the way I used it was basically to just sit in front of Blissey and not take any damage. So it was mostly just the way I played that was stally.
It was mostly Wigglytuff being able to...
Yeah, just spamming Wish.
Yeah, Wish Pass.
I still can't believe I did this. And basically after the Blissey went down, it was kind of just free game for Gengar again.
Yeah.
And he got another 4 kills.
If there's one thing I know about Gengar, it's that it's super good versus standard Blissey. Because Toxic doesn't affect it, Blissey can't pass. Blissey can't break substitutes or even harm it with seismic toss. So Gengar could just literally not care about Blissey.
Right. And honestly, Gengar with Sludge Wave and Giga Drain alone was able to pretty much take out his entire team after Celesteela was gone.
Yeah.
Which is basically what happened. So, yeah. That felt, I mean, I definitely felt good, but the aftermath of everyone calling me the Stall Master was definitely, I don't know about that, guys.
It's funny because you so vehemently, I don't know how to say that word, but you so denied it. And everybody was like ramping it up because you were denying it.
I'm just so against stall. And then everyone's like, oh, look at you, you stalled. And then, yeah, that's one of the many memes that took off from this season with me.
It's like when Noob Scrub used Charizard earlier today in the Gen 3 random battle tournament, and I took a picture of it, and I was like, it was funny.
He used Charizard. Oh, man.
So yeah, it's really funny when you talk about this battle, though, because like you beat around the bush so much, you're like, well, you see, I may have...
right?
But yeah, this was definitely a good battle. For the team that you were most reluctant to face and most scared to face, you ended up winning by quite a large margin. So I think this was good for you to have at that period in the league when you were feeling a little down.
Yeah, for sure.
Even if it meant dipping your toes into stall.
No, it's not even that. It's that now everyone just refers to me as the Stall Master. After using it once in my life.
You could draft, like, Quasimodo's team next time, and they'll still call you Stolly.
I honestly really want to, like, go into next season and just frame one draft Blissey to make everybody's hopes go up. And I'll just...
Run offensive Blissey.
Run offensive Blissey. Okay, I wasn't thinking that, but...
Specs Blissey.
Oh, man.
Just like Fingered Witch in Season 1. I loved that. Fingered Witch ran Life Orb Blissey. That was awesome.
With what move?
Flamethrower, Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, the works.
Okay. I didn't see that, but... That's really funny.
Yeah. So this was a good battle. Probably your best.
I'm not stalling ever again, by the way.
Huh?
I'm not stalling ever again.
That's what they all say.
Yeah, that's what they say until I face Noob Scrub next season.
Yeah. Hey, the 2 times Noob Scrub lost in regular season were to stall. So, just saying.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So Moon Drinkers was your next matchup.
Mm-hmm.
And this was another really close one.
This was me getting a taste of my own medicine.
Yeah, the clutch at the end.
The clutch at the end. I had it going so well. His main tanks that he had, Registeel and Cofagrigus, went down extremely early, and I felt so good. Because I thought Cofagrigus was doing so good at walling everybody in his battles that he was doing before.
Yeah.
And Primarina just destroyed it. It went down in 2 hits. And after that, I'm like, wow, I'm in extremely good shape here. And then Garchomp happened.
I think it was it Earthquake or Outrage that it used? I think it was Outrage.
When it was on that late game sweep, it was Outrage. After I took down Cofagrigus, he actually sent out Garchomp. And I had Scarf Primarina in this battle, specifically to take down Garchomp. Because a Scarf Primarina is faster than Garchomp. But I wasn't able to outspeed it because his Garchomp also had Scarf.
Yeah.
So his Garchomp used Poison Jab on Primarina, took it out, and then he switched into something else. And then Garchomp came back in, and I'm pretty sure he took down Necrozma, Hitmonlee, Zeraora, and Gengar, like, all in 4 turns with Outrage. Right at the end of the battle.
Yeah, that Outrage was scary. Once Primarina goes down, like, there's nothing that could really take an Outrage on this team, so...
One of my big hopes was for, like, it used Outrage to take out Necrozma, and I was like, okay, I'm going to send in Zeraora. This is basically going to confirm if it's Scarfed or not, which it was. It took down Zeraora. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to send out Hitmonlee, it's going to die to Outrage, and then I'm going to send out Gengar, and I'm going to hope it hits itself in Confusion. And if he hit himself in Confusion, I would have won, but those odds were against me from the start. So, and it would have kind of felt like a gummy way to win if I won from a Confusion, but I guess that's the risk in using Outrage.
Yeah. Kind of sad that Confusion chance is 33 instead of 50 now. I just realized that in the middle of the league.
I'm very happy it's 33 instead of 50 because 50 is extremely annoying when it's you being confused. So
my Dynamic Punch Machamp didn't like that.
Yeah, well, your no guard Dynamic Punch Machamp was perfectly fine with it, I think.
Oh yeah, that one time I ran Guts Dynamic Punch. I felt so dumb. But yeah, this was really intense. You definitely, yeah, like you said, you got a taste of your own medicine, but this was your last loss in the regular season, and
it wasn't even a bad loss.
And what?
It wasn't even a bad loss.
Yeah.
Like I was not upset with this loss. The other two, I had reasons to be down on myself. This one, you know, I can't feel bad about getting destroyed by a Scarf Garchomp last minute. Like, yeah, it felt good. At least it was Garchomp.
the Garchomp that's faster than the Mega. Rip. Never understood why they did that.
Oh yeah, I also... This was actually kind of cool. I wanted to kind of coordinate it with Edgar, but I never got to it. But he has Garchomp and I have Mega Garchomp. I have Houndoom, he has Mega Houndoom. I kind of wanted to like get something going there, but at the same time, we were pretty late into the season and we were both kind of going for playoffs, so I didn't want to like make any memes.
Right.
So
yeah, that's funny. I actually forgot about that you have each other's Megas. Well, after this battle, you acquired another fighting type via exchange, and you also let go of the depressed Tyranitar.
I couldn't take it anymore.
He was like, all he was doing was making hot pockets all day in your house and sitting on the couch crying.
Bringing the morale down.
I think that's what you needed to get the rest of the W's of the season. Otherwise, like, just would have held you back.
It would have just been sad.
So why did you go for Tyranitar being exchanged for Conkeldurr?
My big issue with Tyranitar was just how it's like Rock Dark is just weak to everything. So even with its like crazy high defense, I never felt safe having it in because it was so slow. And plus, after that battle with Edgar, I kind of realized that Garchomp is perfectly fine without Sand. So I just ditched the whole Sand idea and picked up Conkeldurr. Conkeldurr hits hard like Tyranitar, it's slow like Tyranitar, it's pretty bulky like Tyranitar. The difference is it has a lot less weaknesses and it has priority.
Yeah,
so,
it's a really good Pokemon. It's slept on, to be honest.
Which is crazy to think about because people still use it a lot.
I remember when you picked up Conkeldurr, I was like, oh god, our playoffs matchup is going to be so much harder now.
Well, as soon as I made that exchange, I was Star Toad was just like, my job just got a lot harder. And I started to laugh at that because, I mean, honestly, it felt like I'm not trying to say this to be mean to Tyranitar, but like it just felt like a big breath of fresh air not having Tyranitar. It's not that Tyranitar's bad, it's just like Tyranitar's really good. I just didn't feel comfortable using it. It just didn't really fit my style. So, Conkeldurr doesn't really either, but it's just better.
Yeah. I think it was a good trade, also. You had two fighting types that were different purpose.
Or 3 fighting types, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, 3.
Yeah, that was the one problem with it, but I didn't really care. Because I wasn't using Virizion and Hitmonlee very much, so... Yeah.
Well, this next battle was versus Startoad, and you did bring Conkeldurr to this one. And another close match.
Yeah, freak. This battle was extremely back and forth. I just remember we were kind of just countering each other. Every time I would have Zeraora out to take out his Pokemon, he would switch in Mamoswine, and then I would switch out Zera into Mantine, and then he would Earthquake, and then he would switch in like Araquanid, and it would just be it was just a war of switching out Pokemon. But this is one, I've said this in the chat before, this is one of those battles. I think this is where I turned around like my playstyle and everything, and I kind of figured things out. Because I started to realize that people are going to start... Like, Zeraora is a good Pokemon, and people are going to start, giving Pokemon Scarfs to deal with Zeraora. And in this battle, I was able to identify that he was going to Scarf Mamoswine, and I didn't let him die. If this was early in the season, I did this against Ember. I just let Zera die to Crocodile because I kind of just said, you're not Scarfed. But this time I was like, yeah, this thing's definitely Scarfed. I need to switch out now. I need to keep Zera alive. So, and it ended up, it worked out.
Keeping Zera alive seems to be really good for you, as we'll see later on too. No matter how dead Zera seems, if you keep it alive even at 1 HP, that's good.
Zera, honestly, after this battle is when I started to say that Gengar is no longer the MVP on my team, and it is Zeraora. By the way, Zeraora is my favorite Pokemon of all time. I love this thing so much, and I loved using it. For this reason, it was just so good at... As soon as I figured out how to use it properly, it was just so good at sweeping, and it was so good at late game, just because of how fast it was. So,
it's extremely fast. So you pretty much have to Scarf a Pokemon if you want to outspeed it, and that could hamper like your ability to use that Pokemon if you're locked into something you don't like. So yeah, I think this was a good battle for you. This is also a really tough team. I say as I'm about to face it, and I'm like, nervous. But yeah, it definitely was a good battle for you, I think. And you got to also show what Conkeldurr could do. A little sneak preview. We'll see you use Conkeldurr use a little bit more too. So the next battle was versus Waterfront Woods, Sir Roland's team, and I remember during this battle, it was like crunch time for the MVP race, and me, you, and Quasimodo were all like racing to try to get that first place slot, and I had just made some good ground with Shiftry, and I was like, okay, I gotta hope that Gengar doesn't sweep, and then Gengar swept.
And then Gengar.
At the end, when I think it was versus Torterra, and I was like, okay, there's no way Gengar's gonna kill this one too. It's either not gonna get the kill and then Gengar Destiny Bond, and I was like, are you kidding me? But yeah, I saw the team and I was like, yeah, Gengar's gonna have a field day.
This battle was me figuring out the power of Mantine and how important he is to my team. Chimley Manly, the god.
Yeah.
After this, I almost used Mantine in every battle. It just became as important as having Zeraora and Gengar on my team, and I'm extremely happy I picked it up now. At first, I didn't realize its potential, but now I'm like, this thing is so good. It was so good with my team because it was the only wall I really had.
Yeah.
And also, planning for this team, I was like extremely confident. Not because of Gengar. I had choice banded Zera, and I was doing damage calcs before the battle, and choice band Zera OHKOs all of his Pokemon except for Roserade, Torterra, and something else that he didn't bring, Victini. So I was like, oh, this is beautiful. I can just, you know, if he doesn't bring Torterra, which I wasn't expecting him to bring Torterra because Torterra is a tier 5, so I was just hoping that he wouldn't. And then he did, and I got sad. But it worked out because Gengar ended up getting the kills instead of Zeraora.
Much to my dismay.
This was also... this was the battle when I Plasma Fist Frostlass and it survived with Destiny... Or with Focus Sash, and then Destiny bonded. And then I switched to Mantine and it taunted me as soon as I pressed Scald.
Yeah, I remember that. He kept trying to lure you into Destiny Bond and it didn't work.
This is also kind of funny to me because Mantine got 2 kills and it's not a killer.
Chimley Manly can kill when it wants to.
Chimley Manly can do whatever he wants. You do not question Chimley Manly.
Chimley Manly decides who lives and who dies. The judge, the jury, and the executioner.
And the...
What were you gonna say?
And the defogger.
And the defogger, yes. So, before the last battle of the regular season, you made one transaction. It was a Z transaction from Zeraora to Verizon. And why did you make that Z transaction?
I don't know. I was kind of at the point where if I was ever going to use a Z Crystal, it was just going to be on Necrozma anyway. So, plus everyone was kind of figuring out that Zeraora was just, like, people were going to try to, like, choice scarf Zeraora and all that stuff. So I just thought Zero would have been better without Z Crystals and with other items, like a choice scarf itself or something.
Yeah.
So I kind of just threw the Z Crystal onto Verizon, which just because it has a pretty decent move pool. Plus, I wasn't using it a whole lot, and I kind of wanted to start using it because I know Verizon's really good. I just kind of wasn't. I don't know. I never really felt good using it for some reason. I did later, but I just kind of wanted to give a Z Crystal to something else. I was probably only going to have a Z Crystal and like use Z moves with Necrozma anyway, but just moved it to Verizon just in case.
Well, you did end up using it, so
I did.
That's good. Because I don't think you used it with Zeraora.
I used it once against Ember because I had Z Outrage.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It wasn't important. It was to take out Dragalge, which he didn't even bring. So.
Well, with
Yeah.
that, you move into your final battle versus Benji, final battle of the regular season, and you pulled off a really cool move in this with Houndoom. Did you get that from Zequig's battle, or did you think of that yourself?
What did Z-Kicks do?
He also pulled a Sunny Day, which ruined.
Okay, yeah, I definitely didn't. No, I saw Houndoom. Actually, my first plan here, which you make jokes about this all the time. My first plan here was to give Mantine a choice band and choice band it into Seed Bomb and take out the Swampert. It was a legit plan that I was gonna do, and I was so excited to use it. And then I went into damage calc, and with a choice band Seed Bomb, it still only did like 40%. I was so sad. So I'm like, okay, I need to use a different. I need a grass type Pokemon to take out Swampert. Which, I mean, looking back, I don't see why I didn't use Virizion. But instead, I gave Sunny Day and Solar Beam to Houndoom to slow down Swampert in the rain. That's why I did it, just so I could get rid of rain, and then Solar Beam to take out Swampert, which it worked. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was a really cool move.
I remember looking back on this, like on the video with you commentating, and you're just like, why does he have Houndoom out?
Yeah.
Why'd you do that?
I believe it was a Sash Houndoom.
Sash Houndoom, yeah. So it survived an earthquake from Swampert, and then it set up Sunny Day.
Big brain.
But speaking of big brains, the beginning of this battle, I was getting destroyed. Like Benji was all over me. He took out Conkeldurr like really quickly with Celebi.
Oh yeah, with the Z Dazzling Gleam.
Yeah, and I was like, this is scary, man. Like, I don't know. I was able to retake control later on, but yeah, that was like super scary at the beginning of the battle.
Yeah, he definitely did well in this one, especially in the beginning.
Yeah, his team is really, really good. Honestly, my team just kind of felt good against it, mostly because of Zeraora. Him having a rain team and me just having an extremely fast electric type is kind of his kryptonite.
Yeah.
So
when Swampert goes down, Zeraora feels really comfortable.
Yeah, and I even had Grass Knot on Zeraora, but he was never able to use it. I think he used it against Pelipper once, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that concludes the regular season for you. And before we move on to the playoffs, we're going to take a look at the differentials, which overall, actually, your Pokemon were pretty much even. Like, none of them were too far above and none of them were too far below, except Gengar. Gengar, like, had amassed a ton of kills, ended up getting second place, and he used it 90% of the time, too. So, overall, did you have a favorite Pokemon to use and a least favorite?
My favorite Pokemon was Zeraora. I love that thing so much. Going into next season, I'm gonna try to get it back. Because I just love it. It's so fun to use, and I just feel so powerful with it, man.
Yeah,
just having so fast and having a stab like 100 base power move.
Yeah,
I gave all the hype to Gengar because it was getting all the kills, but Zeraora was really like, he was so fun to use, man. And in terms of least favorites, I mean, if anything, I would have to say Tyranitar. I know I'm like kicking it while it's down at this point, but I never felt comfortable bringing it in. I kind of felt the same thing with Virizion, but at least Virizion had like a little bit of speed when Tyranitar's base speed is like 40. So
It's
Yeah.
really that low? I thought it was
It's-
like 60 or something.
Might be 60, but like it's still not good.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I just didn't like Tyranitar's typing. It was just weak to everything. That was my issue with it.
Was there a Pokemon that you thought, like, you slept on? Like, you thought it would not be so good, but then it ended up being very good for you?
Primarina had this. I kind of just wanted Primarina to be that Pokemon. Because at the time I didn't have Rotom Frost when I was drafting, and I was just like, I kind of want a Pokemon that can use Ice type moves to take out dragons, because dragons are scary, and obviously it has water, strong water type moves, Sparkling Aria, Hydro Pump. But then I looked at it, and I looked at its stats, and I looked at how much damage this thing does. Like, it might be slow, but holy crap, it's it's got some firepower behind it, man.
Yeah, it hits extremely hard.
Yeah, I liked using it a lot, and I was definitely not expecting that much from it. But I'm definitely happy I picked it up.
So overall, pretty good season for you, I'd say, in the regular season. And we're going to move on to the playoffs now. So you got into playoffs, and we're going to start with the winners quarterfinals. This was the set versus Quasimodo. Once again, starting off with the Canada matchup. And so I talked to Quasimodo about this one, and he said that you pretty much like read him like a book.
Yeah, this went really well for me.
So you got a 6-0 in the first one.
Yeah. I remember before this battle started, like, when week 10 ended and we were starting the playoffs and we all knew the matchups, I'm like, wow, maybe like we can have a battle where we're not using Jigglypuff and Wigglytuff. And then, I'm just like, it'll be cool if we both battle with like, an actual team with a Wigglytuff and Jigglypuff, because, they're kind of just there for memes. And then like 5 minutes later, Quasimodo messages me on DMs and it's just like, yo, you want to do the thing again? I was like, all right, fine. But yeah, the big thing here, I was really expecting him to lead Greninja, which he did lead Greninja, and I expected him to have Focus Sash, which I'm assuming he still had Focus Sash. So I led Zeraora and faked him out, which made him lose his Sash. Zeraora was kind of just my counter to everything. If it wanted to switch into Wobbuffet, it had full switch. If it wanted to, do whatever, it could easily get out of there / do big damage. But then I think at one point he switched into Jigglypuff to take a hit, and I'm just like, okay, we're in playoffs, man. I'm not holding back this time. And I just switched into Mega Garchomp and Swords Danced in front of his Jigglypuff, his poor little balloon. And yeah, Garchomp kind of just ran on everything else. It obviously worked out because I broke Mimikyu's disguise with an Iron Head and it made it flinch. And when he had Greninja out, he missed the Hydro Pump. So the RNG did work in my favor, but at the same time, I was kind of at a point where I was just kind of running all over him in the first place. Which, this was probably my best battle I did in general.
Yeah.
And it was against my friggin' partner, which sucks. It sucks that we had to face each other in the first round, but we had to do what we had to do.
Yeah. It was a really good battle. Mega Garchomp definitely showed its chops in this one.
Finally.
Yeah, after the whole season of being upstaged by Gengar and Zeraora, it finally got to have its time in the sun. And the second one, it also did well too, getting you 3 KOs and not dying.
Yeah, at this point, I did, we kind of we were joking around about the first battle because, I had a lot of RNG on my side, and then and then it went even better for me this time because I had Garchomp in against Wobbuffet, and he encored me into Ironhead. And I remember when he encored me into Ironhead, I typed in the showdown chat, just flinch in all caps. And then it flinched twice in a row.
Flinch did.
I was laughing so hard during that battle, man. I felt bad because I didn't want to win that way, but that's Pokemon, baby.
Yeah. And 30% isn't that low of a chance either. Like, a flinch is honestly almost to be expected from Ironhead. So, yeah.
I'm happy Garchomp will do what he did, though, because he didn't really get that much time, and then he goes 9-0 in the first round of playoffs.
Yeah,
so.
That's pretty insane. And Gengar did do stuff too, Wigglytuff as well. But yeah, this was pretty much Mega Garchomp's show in this first round. And you started off playoffs really strong.
Oh, Wigglytuff got a kill. I forgot about that. That was important. That's an important message.
Yeah, versus Mimikyu, I think, actually.
It took out the friggin' MVP Komodo.
Wigglytuff is to be feared.
To be feared.
But yeah, so you won this one 2-0 by a pretty good margin. And next you moved on to the winners semifinals, and that was versus me, Sun and Friendly.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what was your game plan going into this first battle?
I felt like I had I felt like I played really well here, honestly.
You did.
I had this... I had my team set up. My Conkeldurr had Guts, and it was kind of running through a bunch of stuff. I can't remember exactly what went on in this battle. I just remember Mesprit setting up Trick Room and kind of screwing me over a bit. The big thing that really, I wouldn't say frustrated me, but it definitely kind of brought me down a bit. I had Zeraora out against Excadrill. It was pretty much the end of the battle, and I had a Choice Scarf on Zera so it could outspeed Excadrill in the sand, and I just completely kind of blanked and just said, "Oh, it's Excadrill. I'm kind of close combat," and I wasn't even thinking about your possible switch-ins or anything. So that was kind of just a brain fart moment. Which, I mean, maybe I would have pressed close combat anyway. I probably would have pressed Fire Punch instead. But, I don't know, that kind of... I did play well this battle, and I'm not mad at how I did. Your Machamp friggin' ran over me with that no guard, or not no guard. What's the ability called?
No guard, yeah.
No guard? No guard Dynamic Punch? Yeah,
yeah.
I kind of ran my team in Trick Room. Also, your Gigalith exploded on something. I think it was
on Conk, yeah.
So, yeah, I don't feel bad about how I did this battle. I just I got a little salty because of that Zera play.
Yeah, there was a few pivotal moments. I needed a lot to go right, and it ended up going right. But I remember when I sent in Mesprit to Conk, I was like, please switch out, because I was using Trick Room and I needed Mesprit still, but I needed to set up a Trick Room, so I was like, please don't use Knockoff, please switch out, and you did, so I was like, oh, thank God. Because I think you would have outsped, because my Mesprit was actually, unless you went, Brave minimum speed, because my Mesprit was,
I think I made mine fast because it was Guts. I usually make it pretty slow because usually I give my Conkeldurr Assault Vest and Iron Fist. I usually go with that route instead of Guts, but I had Guts in this one. So
yeah, so you actually probably would have been able to kill me, but I faked out Mesprit coming in to kill you, but instead I just want to set up a Trick Room. That was scary.
Also, I had a huge, like, holy crap, this Pokemon is busted moment when Conkeldurr just... You switched into Venusaur, and Conkeldurr just disintegrated it.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
See you later.
Well, there goes my Sun Core.
I was like, oh my god. I did not expect that to kill at all. But
yeah.
It did, and I was happy. But, yeah.
That was pretty crazy. And I needed Gigalith to explode on Conkeldurr. Like, I needed that to happen because Conk was such a threat to me.
Yep.
So that went right, but it was a really good match. It was really exciting. And I was, like, juggling a lot at once. Like, I had Sun, Sand, and Trick Room, and for the most part, I think you managed to keep up with, like, those 3 really disorienting archetypes.
Yeah.
So, we move into the second match, and this one, I had changed up my team a lot, and I think I changed it up to better face Conkeldurr and Zeraora. I got rid of the Sun.
I remember I'm still so salty about this, man. I'm not gonna blame this because, you know, obviously I should have thought about this. But we were both pretty tired when we were doing this. Like, we both just got off work.
Yeah.
So I didn't switch any Pokemon out, but I switched a lot of moves around. And one of the big things I wanted to switch was my Houndoom. I wanted Houndoom to have Protect, so it could stall out. I'm never saying stall again. I wanted it to stall out Trick Room with Protect, and I wanted it to Will-O-Wisp you, because Excadrill exists and all that stuff, right? But what I didn't do was I didn't take off his Assault Vest. So I pretty much had a Houndoom with only Fire Blast and Dark Pulse. Yeah, and that was just a big mistake on my part, and I should have looked over that, but yeah, and yeah, aside of that, you kind of just took control of this game. I wasn't really able to get anything going as much as I did in the first game.
I will admit that I had RNG on my side with Dragon Tail. Every time you use Dragon Tail, the exact Pokemon I wanted to come out came out. So that was pretty lucky for me. But overall, this was a really good set. I think you definitely, like, compared to the first match we had earlier in the season, you definitely held your own more, and definitely made me sweat.
Yeah, and sometimes that's the best you can do against Noel.
Well, I mean, like, I definitely think that you could have won some of them. Who knows? Maybe if you didn't have the Assault Vest on Houndoom, I don't know, but you definitely did really good, and it was a really enjoyable set for me.
Yeah, again, I didn't feel bad about losing these. I mean, I felt bad at the time because I was tired and I was frustrated that I made that mistake, but at the same time, you know, it's not like I didn't get 6-0'd both the times, and I held my own. I did better than I did in the regular season against you, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after that, you went and faced Ember, Rio Grande Rapidash, in a very, very intense set.
Yeah.
This first one, I believe... Yeah, Ember used Trick Room. And... it all came down to... Was it Crook versus Zeraora?
Crook versus Zeraora. And this time... You'll notice I had this trend going on in playoffs where I just gave Zeraora a Choice Scarf. Because I was kind of just on that... I just had that idea that everyone's going to run Choice Scarf against me. And instead of finding a way around it, I just kind of said, "Hey, Zeraora, have a friggin' choice scarf yourself." Which, I mean, it's not a bad play. I mean, it worked out. It didn't work out this battle, but yeah, at the end it came down to Zeraora and Crocodile, and I knew Zeraora was faster, and I honestly thought I won because I thought close combat was gonna kill, but the thing was left with 7% HP, and I was like, there is no way that thing just lived. And well, I mean, it did, and it was still super hype because, I mean, it came right down to 7% HP. So
yeah, it's pretty naturally bulky. It could survive quite a bit, like, that you wouldn't expect Crocodile. But this was such a back and forth match. Like,
right.
if you look at it, like, every Pokemon had a kill except Tornadus and Conkeldurr, which is crazy. Like, back and forth all the time in this match. And, yeah, it was just extremely hype. I don't know really what else to say about it other than I was so excited to see how the rest of the set was going to go. Because I was like, there's no way that this could be, the next match could be hyper than this. And then I was wrong. Because,
one thing I do want to mention before we just go, Conkeldurr was asleep for most of the set. So, shame on you, Conkeldurr.
Conkeldurr just got out of work doing construction. Give him a break.
You know what? I don't know why I brought the cement bricks home, but, it's having a good time.
Stealing from work. It started with one brick, and then he started taking pillars.
Suddenly there's no building left, and it's only Conkeldurr.
I don't know what.
He says with 2 giant cement pillars in his hand.
So this next one was so hype. Like, the first one couldn't get any more hype, and then this happened. So there was a moment. Lantern is a nice check to Zeraora because it has Volt Absorb. If you're choiced, it's really tough because it's naturally bulky, and there's nothing Zeraora could really do. It doesn't want to get burned from Lantern either. So there was a moment where Lantern actually toxic Zeraora and was scalding it, and you stayed in and you were trying to chip away at Lantern, and then at the last second you were at like 7 HP or something. And you're
7.
Yeah, go ahead.
He was at 7% HP, and I'm like, okay, I can't let you die because you're important. So I just switched it out, not expecting what would happen later. So, basically, honestly, at the time I sent out Zeraora at the end of the battle, I thought I lost because I thought toxic damage did 8%. So, instead of 6%. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just, I'll take out the Crocodile, and then I'll just hope that Primarina can do something against Tornadus, because it's gonna die to Toxic or whatever. But then it kills the Crocodile and it goes down to 1 HP. I'm like, wait, I just won. I just won. So he sends out Tornadus. I send out Prima. Prima dies. I just kind of sent it out to sack it, and then I sent back in Zeraora, and Zeraora with 1 HP, it's on its deathbed, getting eaten away by a poisonous virus, just sends one more electrical punch to Tornadus and keeps me alive.
That was honestly so hype. You were at 1 HP poisoned. Like,
it's crazy to think that I was 1% HP from being out right here.
Yeah. So that was the turning point for you in this set, because you won this one and you just needed to win one more. And I would think you were both like on the verge of a heart attack at this point, because
at this point, honestly, okay, I was freaking out, but at the same time, I was like really sick when I was doing this battle. So I was like, okay, my heart's about to explode, but I also really need to go to the bathroom right now. So yeah, that was basically what was going on in my head.
I remember Ember telling me, he's like, I'm having a straight up panic attack right now. Like, holy shit, this is too close.
I mean, yeah, this wasn't very good for my heart. This season wasn't very good for my heart.
All the contestants are gonna end up like having heart attacks, and I'm gonna be put in jail for like inducing heart attacks on people. Your league was responsible.
Welcome to season 7 of welcome to season 7 of Victory Road Draft League, featuring 2 people because everyone else is in the hospital.
So in this next one, you made some changes that were really good. First of all, you put in Necrozma and you put in Hitmonlee, and Hitmonlee was kind of like a back to basics, looking at the first match you did with him in the regular season and bringing what worked, and it worked again.
That was a huge risk, because I took out Gengar for Hitmonlee, and Gengar was pretty much my biggest check for Breloom. So I just needed to like basically find a way to take out Breloom without using Sludge Wave, obviously. And I was hoping Necrozma would do that, which, I mean, it didn't. It was actually Hitmonlee that ended up doing that. It basically got to a point where Breloom put Conkeldurr to sleep again, and I got really mad at that because Conkeldurr just wouldn't stop sleeping this freaking set. And, but then at that time, I was like, wait a minute. Breloom only has like 30% HP left, and I can just close combat with Hitmonlee and take it out, and then it'll activate its Unburden. And I did exactly that, and it swept through his 3 biggest threats, which were Crocodile, Exploud, and Tornadus. No sweat. Like, it was crazy how fast it like 3 turns and they're all dead. It's like, holy crap. I just won because of this tier 4 fighting type that I barely use.
Yeah, it was kind of full circle, since that's what gave you the win in the first one. And Necrozma was really good in dealing with the Trick Room that he was trying to set up with Musharna. He didn't bring Musharna this time, but that was a good switch, I think.
Necrozma was in the first 2 battles too. Oh, Necrozma wasn't in the first battle.
In the second battle, yeah. Yeah, you brought it to face Musharna. Yeah, and then Musharna switched out because it was kind of walled by Necrozma, so...
Necrozma with the Dark Sea Crystal to take out Musharna. In the first battle I had Rockium Z Virizion, which went exactly, and I still lost that battle, which was also very frustrating because I knew that wouldn't work again.
But you baited out Tornadus really good because it went exactly how you planned.
I had that vision for like the entire week before this battle came up, and it got exactly vision date.
I'm kind of wondering why he didn't send out Lantern first. Maybe he didn't think that it could live from Hitmonlee, but it was the only Pokemon that ended up living.
Yeah, well, at the same time, the only thing it could really do was Scald and hope for Burn, which was obviously his best play.
Yeah.
But at the time, it's kind of rough to just hope that it's going to burn.
Yeah.
If it didn't burn, then it would have just been, a free 3 more kills for Hitmonlee, right?
Yeah.
So I can see what his point of like doing it, but yeah, I see what you're coming from.
It was a really good set, though. Like, overall,
set. And it really sucked that one of us had to friggin' be out of playoffs because of this, because we both put up such a friggin' huge fight here.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So you advanced with the 2-1 set score, and you moved on to face Startoad, Detroit Dinos. Mm-hmm. And so the first battle, you faced Startoad's team, and Zero Aura kind of went off in this one.
Zero Aura and Necrozma to an extent, because Necrozma was able to take down Who did Necrozma take down? It took down Gardevoir, and it took down something else. But yeah, Zeraora just completely went off here, and I had I think it's a Shuka Berry, the thing that resists ground.
Yeah, and you resisted the earthquake.
The Salamence Earthquake, which was originally for Mamoswine, because I thought he was going to bring Mamoswine, but instead he had Salamence. Yeah, but Zeraora kind of tore through this, and I mean, this felt really good too, because, I mean, after winning my battles against Ember, like, by 1 and 2, I was able to, like, kind of destroy him.
Oh yeah, I remember now. You used Bulk Up on Zeraora, and then with the Shuka Berry after that, I think, and then you swept a little bit.
Would have lived without the Bulk Up, but the Bulk Up was what was able to kill Salamence.
Yeah.
In Gem. Yeah.
So that was really smart. I thought that was a really cool play. The Bulk Up Shuka Berry, like, it was so specific, but it worked so well.
Original play, I was really disappointed because I wanted to give Zeraora, I wanted to have like Shuka Berry on it, and then maybe give it like agility or something, but it doesn't learn agility because I just wanted to give it like extra speed so it could outspeed everything. But it doesn't learn any speed boosting moves, which I thought was kind of like, what the heck? And I was confused at how I learned that at this point in the season. So I guess, okay, instead of going for speed, I guess I'm going for defense, which is why I did Bulk Up instead.
It worked in this match though, so
it worked well. Well, it's also that I don't think StarToad was really expecting it. Well, he definitely wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the second match, you brought Trick Room, and that kind of backfired on you.
Yeah, huge backfire. One thing that happened against Ember was whenever he would try to Trick Room me, I was kind of like okay with it because Primarina and Conkeldurr were like really slow anyway. So basically what I want to do was try to Trick Room here, and just hope that like Conkeldurr and Primarina can, do huge damage, because looking at the team, they can both do big damage to that team just with the moves they had. But the first big problem was I did not expect Araquanid to be slower than my Conkeldurr, which is why I switched it in for it to instantly die to Araquanid. And then Salamence was just kind of able to Dragon Dance on me after all of that.
Because I think he also got a Web Up, didn't he?
Was that this battle? Yeah, I think it was this battle. You're right. But basically, my plan here was, like, use Trick Room. If it works, it's awesome. Because, I win and I move on. But if I lose, it'll at least throw him off, like, basically, like, my game plan.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was basically my plan when I did this. And it didn't work out very well, so...
Yeah, I think you ditched it for the next one.
Yeah.
So this next one, it's... I think Meowstic M, it doesn't show in the differential, but Meowstic M was really, like, the bane of your existence, because Yawn was really throwing off your momentum.
Well, I think the one thing that I had a big problem with in this set was StarToad did an awesome job at, like, adjusting to my team and adjusting to, like, all the things I had for him and all the moves I had and all the items, and he was adjusting so well. And when I lost, I kind of didn't really have an answer for him. I kind of kept everything the same and just hoped it worked. Looking back at it now, I'm kind of beating myself up because I gave Mantine Haze instead of Ice Beam to get rid of the Dragon Dancing Salamence. when I think if I gave it Ice Beam, it would have been able to kill the Salamence. Just thinking about that now, I'm not sure if that would have worked, but
I think Haze actually was a play. The problem, like, maybe Ice Beam too, like, instead of Scald or something. But the problem was that you were asleep. I think on the 1v1, Salamence actually only had Fly, so you could have just kept roosting and Ice Beaming and hazing if it used Dragon Dance, and it couldn't do anything, but you were asleep. And that was your biggest downfall.
Right. Well, yeah. Again, Starto did such a good job at adjusting to my team. So, yeah, that's...
Yeah, he's definitely showing that thirst. At the time of recording, it's Grand Finals, me versus him. We haven't gone yet, but, like, he came in seed 8, and right now he's at least rank 2. So...
went on a tear through playoffs.
Yeah.
I think his exchange, the Hydreigon for Salamence, is one of, like, the best trades of the season.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think he's lost... Well, I mean, he's lost a few games in sets, but he's barely lost with Salamence, like, at all.
Yeah, Salamence has done him really well, so... Yeah. So this was a 1-2 for you, and that was the final set, and you ended up in 4th, which was really good, especially for your first time in League. So I think you should definitely be really proud of your performance.
Yeah, I feel really good about my performance.
And honestly, it was really awesome having you in the league. You were really just a good sport, and you planned, you scheduled on time. Like, you were never really a problem with scheduling, which is really good because it could be really stressful when scheduling doesn't happen. And it was cool because, like, you were really enthusiastic about it even when you weren't playing, like, in the end of last season. So I knew that you were going to be, like, a good competitor in this one, and you were. So I really appreciate, like, all the participation you had in the league and hyping it up and stuff. I wanted to ask if, before we end the video, since we're nearing the end, first of all, what your favorite moment in the league was.
Oh, God. I mean, you know what you want me to say.
There's a lot of things that I think you might say.
A lot of things, because I was behind a lot of memes this season. Like, I mean, I already forgot to mention that we had the battle versus Benji was the legendary Borger battle.
Yeah.
You know, I got called the Stallmaster after my game with Noob Scrub. We had the whole storyline with Tyranitar. We had the whole Chimley Manly thing. We had the whole Canadian Man thing. We had, yeah, I don't know. Like, making those memes were awesome. I'm happy those, like, kind of stuck.
Yeah, it was fun, like, the way that people bonded through the league. Like, it's always nice when the community grows together, and I think that happened, so...
Yeah.
I think that was a really good moment, or collection of moments, rather. What did you learn from your time in the league?
Well, I mean, in terms of Pokemon, I definitely learned, like, I just learned how to, like, properly use a team, you know, and properly play Pokemon. I wouldn't say, I mean, I wasn't saying my early battles were improper, but they were kind of, I would say, unrefined in a way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really happy my team worked out the way it did, because I didn't expect it to be very good in general, just the way it was. But for what I learned, I don't know, man. It was a good time. It's just I enjoyed it, man. I can't really say I learned much aside of just, like, how to play Pokemon and how awesome you guys are.
Well, I think that you definitely you definitely showed what you got, and you contributed a lot. So once again, I'm really happy that you joined, and
Yeah.
I look forward to any participation you have in future seasons.
Yeah, I think um, going into next season, I had this plan. Like if I go into season 3, I was gonna have this idea of if I do bad, I'm gonna go try hard again and just like try to make an optimal team. But if I do good enough, I'm gonna try to do something wacky. And I think I did good enough to the point where I think I'm just gonna try to do something super wacky next season. And it won't be stall. I can tell you that. That's not wacky. um, but but yeah. I also just want to thank you guys. Like Noel, you were awesome at like just organizing all this. Noob Scrub, you did a great job if you're watching this. Quasi was super cool, helping out with the team building and stuff. Quest was also a super like supportive guy with me, especially when I was going through those hard times midway through the season. Like Noel, you were so good with that, and like I was at the point where I was thinking of maybe even like leaving the league and stuff, and I'm very happy I stayed. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy you stayed too, and I'm glad through all this that, like I said, the community grew for sure, and I think you definitely integrated yourself even more into the community, and we got to become greater friends, and like that's always like the best part. Like my favorite part is just seeing like how the league, like through participating, how we all become closer and how we all become more friends, and like we make memes together and people come out of their shells more, and like people get more comfortable with each other, and like so many of us have pretty tough lives. I'm not gonna lie. Lives. Lives. I'm not gonna lie. Like a lot of people have opened up to me, and I've opened up to people too, and so it's just nice when we have something like this where like we all have things going on in our lives, but we all have each other too. We all have league. We all could just chill out, play some games, make some memes, and it's a fun time, and I'm really glad that people enjoy it. So here's to many more. I'm excited for... I know everybody's kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm burnt out, but...
Honestly, I'm not burnt out at all. If we started the season tomorrow, I'd be perfectly fine with it.
I definitely want to start, like, not super soon, but I don't want to wait too long either. Like, I'm really hyped for season 3, honestly, so...
Just hyped for you guys to react to the team I'm planning on drafting.
Oh yeah, I'm curious to see that team and every other team people make. So
you know how I said I had that group of 4 like this season with Trantar, Garchomp, Necrozmas, Aura. Like that was my 4.
Yeah.
I have that 4 set.
Oh.
It's a little more zany and a little more crazy.
Interesting.
And it has Zera Aura again, I'll tell you that. So please don't take Zera Aura, I'm begging you.
You heard it here first, folks. Make it your logo Pokemon, just so that like if someone takes it, then they'll feel bad about it.
I'm kind of thinking of using that Chimley Manny's parody band as my logo for next season.
Well, there you go. It's on the logo, so.
Well, yeah, he's there. He's playing a guitar. He's having a good time.
Yeah. Zera Aura still needs to have more meme legends built around him, because we have Gengar holding the Borger, and we have Jigglypuff on the drum set for Tyranitar, and then of course Chimley Manley himself. So Zera Aura's gonna break out and become the next big meme next season.
Zera Aura is just that he destroys everybody.
Everybody just cries after being killed by Zera Aura.
You're dead.
Just name Zera Aura Omae wa mo shinderu. Well, that was a really fun. I knew that this was going to be a fun team analysis video. Really fun having you in the league, like I said. Really thankful that you joined, and looking forward to a lot more in the future. We're pretty much concluding the video. If you, I don't know if you have any final thoughts, any like one last word you want to say.
I'll just give another hint into my team of 4 that I have next. It's very Canadian.
Canadian. Okay.
That might not answer any questions at all. But...
Yeah, it almost raises more questions than answers. So I'm just hoping that this one Pokemon I really want isn't considered Canadian, because I don't know if it is. But
well, I mean, we can discuss that after the video.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this one. Really fun. And this concludes the team analysis video for Northern Necrozmas, led by Morgana. And stay tuned for some more team analysis videos. We have just a few more coming. I believe it's only 3 left: Edgar, Startoad, and my own. So stay tuned for that. This has been Noel from Sun and Friendly, joined by Morgana from Northern Necrozmas, and we'll see you next time for some more team analysis videos coming up. Until then, see ya.